Welcome.
Yeah, hold on. I got to do this podcast. Yeah. The black guy. He's a friend. I consider him a friend.
Yeah. Yep.
What's his name? David Beckles Jr.
This is me. And that is Alex Kohler.
All right, everybody.
This is episode, what is this, 21?
I don't even know. What does it
21.
really matter? We're just here to talk.
This is episode 21
Yeah.
in our new setup. How y'all think? Tell us what you think about it. What's going on, bud?
Not much. So you just went down south. You went on a road trip, didn't you, big fella?
Yeah, I did.
David went for his other job. He went to where? New Orleans, right?
New Orleans, yeah.
How many hours in the car?
Total, the drive is 19 and a half hours.
19 and a half. Can you just work us through what states you started from? You started obviously New York.
Yeah.
You went through what's that? Pennsylvania?
Well,
Or Jersey?
I was in Brooklyn. I had to make a stop in Brooklyn, so
Brooklyn.
I went through Staten Island
All right.
to New Jersey, and then down the Turnpike on the 95.
Okay. Parts of Staten Island's like being deep south.
yeah.
A little scary over there. They're like, it's a black guy. We only have Italians and Irish here, and a couple of Chinese.
Yeah.
So then you went to Jersey.
So
PA.
from Jersey, Jersey, Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's right. And Baltimore.
So
Then I started to go.
No, Baltimore's what? Baltimore, Maryland. Wait a
Baltimore.
minute.
Oh no, sorry, Maryland, not Baltimore. What am I talking?
Wait.
Maryland.
But to get to Maryland, don't you first go through Jersey? Then it goes to Maryland. Does it go
So
through
Jersey,
Virginia?
Delaware.
Delaware.
Hold on.
Delaware.
No, Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware.
Delaware. Oh, you went like that.
Yeah.
Then and then what state after
And then
Delaware?
after Delaware, it was like the DC area.
DC, and then
Then Baltimore. Then I went across Baltimore. I think the 81. So Baltimore. I went to Maryland. I keep saying Baltimore, Maryland, and then into West Virginia.
West Virginia. Oh, you just went from Maryland to West Virginia.
Yeah.
Did you hear the banjos when you crossed the border? Is
let
it
me-
scary?
Let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
I was in Home Depot one time, and they had this guy, this thick Southern accent.
In West Virginia?
No, in up here in Westchester. And this guy, when the guy said, "You would never guess where he's from," and I was like, "Talk." I said, "Okay, you from Tennessee?" He's like, "No." I started calling names, and then it was like Maryland. I was like, "What?" But then you realize that Maryland and West Virginia, they border each other.
So he's on that section.
So he's on that
the
section,
border?
and he sounds like he's from West Virginia. It's like, wow.
But that's like everywhere. Like if North Florida, they
Right.
sound like they're from Georgia.
Right.
And it's Florida.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah. So, but you don't think of country when you hear Maryland.
did you stop in West Virginia?
No, absolutely not.
No. Why not?
No need.
Why
to.
not, David? What
No need-
possible
no need-
reason
no need
would
to
you
stop.
not stop in West Virginia?
Because I did not want to see a family having sex.
Oh man, it's the poorest state in America.
Yeah, I
right?
heard
The
that.
poorest
Yeah,
state. The most white poverty.
Yeah.
That has more.
Appalachia.
I think it's mostly white poverty, is what I hear.
Appalachia.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? The Appalachia. My wife biked through there. She did the famous. My wife's a cyclist, and she did the Appalachian Trail bike.
Yeah.
You know what that is?
No.
That's It's called the Great Allegheny Passage. She took the train, the Metro North from the city, into Pittsburgh.
Right.
9 hours on the train, almost 10.
You mean the Amtrak, not Metro North?
Amtrak.
Right.
And then from Pittsburgh, she biked something like 400 or 500 miles to DC. From there, took the Amtrak. That bike, she biked an average of 80 miles a day for 6 days. Wow. It was like 470 miles or something.
Yeah.
Ends up in DC, then you take the train back, and I picked her up from Grand Central. And she biked 70, 80 miles a day from Pittsburgh to DC.
She was tired?
And she went through West Virginia, and she said, part of the trail, you go through like some houses. She's like, I thought I was in a third world country. Like it was scary, like shacks, mobile homes, broken down, like, when your mobile home's broken down.
I mean, honestly,
Scary.
You see some of that,
Right.
I mean, I didn't because I didn't, obviously there was no need. I didn't venture off the highway. So because, I took that route, that was like, I was on the 81 then. And then
So
the
then
81,
West Virginia, right? 81. And then what? So next
Virginia.
state? Then Virginia.
Right.
Right, because it's
Okay,
brief.
bro.
It's small West
Yeah,
Virginia, right?
really brief.
You
Then
just you clipped it.
Yeah, you kind of go north, like northeast Virginia, and you're going diagonal. So you come out southwest Virginia into Tennessee.
Into Tennessee. Any part of these, you've been to these states before? You've driven through them before?
I've driven all these
okay.
so far that we've mentioned so far. I did that.
So your rectum wasn't fully tightened, but slightly tightened. I'm slightly nervous rectum.
But then this was a new one. Mississippi. Alabama.
Mississippi. Any cities in Alabama? Alabama?
Alabama and Mississippi.
That's those are the two fattest states in America.
I know because
obesity.
Listen, I went into Cracker Barrel. I got a bit about Cracker Barrel. I tried it last night.
Oh man, Cracker Barrel, the one and only.
Hey, the chicken tastes better.
Chicken and biscuits, right? No, what is it? Chicken and dumplings. Chicken and dumplings.
Yeah, I don't
That's
like
the classic thing.
But yeah, I mean, it was like I was in a cartoon. First guy I met said, "How you doing?" I said, "Hey, what's up?"
People
man?
really friendly? Alabama, they are, right?
It was a Cracker Barrel, so I don't know how friendly. But he was like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Oh,
okay. I was like, "Hey, what's up, man?"
He just talked to you for no reason, just how you doing?
He was in front of the door, so I had
they
just
do
parked
that.
up. So
and when you do, I was in Missouri and I learned firsthand when you say like, "Hey, how are you?" That to us it's like just keep it moving. The conversation's over. How you doing? It's just a formality.
Yeah.
Over there, they think you're asking them how you're doing.
Yeah.
So when you say that to them, they stop and tell you how they're. We were in Missouri. And I was with my friend from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I was like, "How you doing?" And the guy's like, went through his whole life story.
Yeah.
And we were walking down the street with my guy from Brooklyn, who's never left Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And somebody goes, "How you doing?" And he goes, "Fuck you." I'm like, "Dude, they're just being friendly." Because in Brooklyn, you do that. It's a scam. What's your agenda?
Yeah.
So anyway, you're in Alabama.
So I just ate there.
Okay, Cracker Barrel.
Really quickly. And then I was in Mississippi.
Mississippi. So that's the next state. So Alabama, Mississippi.
Then from Mississippi into Louisiana.
Do you remember the city in Mississippi and Alabama you were in?
No, just highway because I don't when I'm driving along like that, I try to just if I need gas, I try to get gas that's like literally right by the highway that I can see. I can just get on, fill up, get right back on. You know what I mean?
You want to go into the back roads?
Hell,
and run into Cletus and Jethro?
No. Hey boy, what you doing down here?
Dude, I
don't see your kind. Lovely set of teeth you got.
I told you about
your family?
The Puerto Rican guy I used to work with that went for the first time into like Georgia, like rural Georgia.
Yeah.
He lived there briefly, and he was dating a girl.
Briefly,
and the father or something said to him, he goes, "We got our whites here and we got our blacks, but we don't got no in betweens, and you an in between." He meant in between, like black, white. He's an in between.
Oh, God.
They're not even like lightly brown.
Yeah.
They're like, "What are you Dominican?" They're like in between black and white. That's it.
Oh, God.
You know, they got 3 levels there: black, white, in between somewhere.
I think we refer to you guys as mulattoes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mulattoes.
They literally would call him Yankee. They'll call him like Yankee, course, like they're living in the Civil War. That was like backwoods Georgia.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean.
It's not like that there anymore. I think it's changed over 20 years.
Yeah, a lot of stuff has changed. You know, you meet people that either they're progressive and they're thinking. But again, I didn't have a lot of interaction with people. You know?
And there's been like a food revolution.
Yeah, they really
food. I used to go 2 hours from here upstate and you couldn't get any good food. Now it's like there's like craft pizza and donuts upstate. Yeah, it's changed. Times has changed.
New Orleans, there is that same type like craft beer.
Dude, I want to go there. I'm so jealous of this guy because I love food. You're a little less adventurous with food than me.
Yeah.
But I will try. Like you put a catfish dick, and I'll try it. I don't know. I'll try anything.
I'll try the catfish penis, please. Fried. Thank you.
But like that's what, and I love. Did you try like gumbo, the classic?
I didn't have any chance to do any of that. It was just work, bro.
Jambalaya?
Nothing.
A po' boy?
Listen,
I heard about a po' boy.
I didn't try a po' boy.
Do you know what that is?
Yes.
Okay.
But I didn't try that. I don't eat shrimp.
Po' boy. That's the average person in West Virginia. That's a po' boy.
But here's I got this breakfast spot, and I got a cheesy egg biscuit with turkey sausage.
Was it like overwhelmingly greasy and disgusting?
No, it wasn't.
This is Louisiana.
Yeah, this was New Orleans.
Did you see the drive-through daiquiri bars and drive-through liquor stores? They have New Orleans is famous. You can have open beverage container in your car in New Orleans.
Yeah. But I didn't because we worked. So we were at one spot. We were at this one spot for basically a day and a half, trying to set up for the event. The Big Shot. It was Marshawn Lynch podcast. Then the big podcast with Shaquille O'Neal. Then after that, Angel Reed. Let's take some pictures.
I watched. He had Shane Gillis on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it funny?
Yeah, a little bit. It was funny. It was funny. I mean, those guys talk. You know, here's what I honestly think. The production value is like, this is the big, it's the big podcast, big guest, Shane Gillis.
Whose podcast is it? Marshawn Lynch's?
No. Well, one of them. There were three separate podcasts.
Okay.
Marshawn Lynch's podcast.
Okay, he has a podcast?
Yeah, of course.
And what's the other ones?
The Big Podcast, or the Big Shaq Podcast.
Who's that?
By the name. Shaquille O'Neal and I forgot his host.
They have a podcast, Shaquille O'Neal?
Yeah,
He does a podcast?
Yes, he does.
Is he like, how's he on a podcast, really?
Yeah, he's got a podcast. Everybody's big got a podcast. Shaq got a podcast.
All right.
And then Angel Reese had a podcast.
Jeez,
Angel Reese?
podcast.
She's
All
actually 6'3". She's a big girl, man. She's a tall girl.
She's tall.
6'3".
You saw her up front close?
I didn't see her close. When I got back, she was sitting down. She was into it.
Huge. That's huge.
Yeah. And Cam Newton. Cam Newton is like 6'5".
Cam.
Yeah, he got his hat with his freaking...
Wait, was Gillis on it
No.
with Cam Newton? Mm-mm. You know what he calls him on his... He calls him... I don't know why he calls him Scam Newton.
I don't know. I don't know. Really, I don't know. No,
got the inside joke reason.
But, it was some parts were new construction. Like, where we stayed had like these ridiculously high ceilings.
Did you see the old French Quarter?
No, I didn't get a chance.
I heard about that.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance.
Built in the French style or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you got some of those similar styles in like different areas that you go. But again, I didn't venture out from the spot.
Did you see damage from the hurricane back then? What's the one that destroyed
Katrina.
it? Katrina? I can never get them right. I can't remember my girls. I can't remember my girl hurricanes.
None of
Katrina,
that.
Sandy, whatever the hell it is, right?
None of that I got to see. It was just work. And then I hit the road Sunday. We
should name
loaded
hurricanes after Puerto Rican women.
Really?
It's a little more devastating.
You think so?
I think so.
I think
saying
if my
it right
sister-in-law watches this podcast.
Oh, your sister-in-law's Puerto Rican?
Yes, she is.
Can we use her first name?
You see who saw it, right? But driving back, then you're coming back this way, 19 and a half hours again. I stayed in Mississippi Sunday night so I could watch the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. But I got up early and hit the road because I was like, I heard there's snow coming in Virginia. So Virginia was shut down, those schools and everything. So I did about 14 hours coming back.
14-hour drive.
14 hours.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, 14 hours coming back.
How much is the most you've driven without getting out even to pee? 3 hours, 4 hours? Like every 4 hours you get out to pee or something?
I just stopped when I needed gas, and then I peed and everything one time.
You have no like sciatic issues? Nothing bothers you? You can do it?
Yeah, I could do it.
14 hours?
Yeah.
Did it ever, is it like a straight road or is it windy? Straight highway,
No,
right?
some windy. Some windy. The good thing about driving like those kind of, I had a Penske, right? Mm-hmm. Lots of times, like Penske and Riders and U-Haul, those vehicles have limiters on them, right? And like the most they can go is 65, which sucks because you imagine driving in a tractor trailer just passing you, those semis are blowing by you. You imagine that if you start to go on the incline, then obviously they're so weighty that they can't go up fast. So I've been in vehicles one time, I was like, okay, now I pass them. And I max out at 65, then I got to do this and go right behind them as soon as they
all right, because it's like, yeah.
But this, I could have gone like 76.
Never got pulled over? You heard it here, folks, on the Velvet Sugar Podcast. Black guy drives 14 hours from the Deep South, doesn't get pulled over. The country's safe. There's no racism. We did it, everybody. We did it. It's a myth, clearly.
Clearly.
Be cool if you could get like a technology in your window in the future where like you're sitting in the car, but from the outside I just see like a white dude. you know, it like filters you.
Like, we got you one of them stinking liberal Yankees. It's like, no, I'm black. Even worse.
So you did that, and then what else? I wanted to ask you something.
Then we did the mic last night. I almost fell asleep.
Dude.
You told me you were like, you're up next. I was like,
Super
what?
Bowl.
What?
I know, right?
Yeah.
The Super Bowl. So you didn't see the Super Bowl there? You didn't
No,
watch
I saw it in my hotel room.
What'd you think of the? Let's talk.
Listen,
controversy. Come on.
The first call I thought was bullshit. That first call, because it was a touchdown by A.J. Brown. And then they said it was offensive pass interference. It was like, whoa. My dad hates two people in sports. Two.
Who?
Tom Thibodeau, Patrick Mahomes. Right?
Tom Thibodeau? The coach of the Knicks?
Oh, my God, yeah.
And who's the other one?
Patrick Mahomes.
He hates him?
Why does he hate him? I don't know.
I actually think I was talking to my brother about this. Like he loves the Holmes. He's kind of like he's a nice guy.
No,
he's kind of like a cool guy. I can't say anything bad
he
about him.
He is.
Did you see the interview when the guy interviews Mahomes and Kelsey? and is like, it's a troll. He trolls him. He's like, how are you guys going to get the refs to give you the perfect calls at the best? And Mahomes he knew what was going on, and he politely was like, well, we just try our best.
Yeah.
And Kelsey like just blew off the question and got mad. But Mahomes is a good dude. Like, I don't dislike him. He runs like a toddler. I heard somebody else. That's not my joke.
Yeah.
I think,
but he does.
Where did I hear that? Whose podcast? But he runs like a chubby toddler, right? He's got like the belly sticking out with his butt sticking out, and then he just kind of throws the ball.
And he did.
Yeah.
But
I don't dislike him.
No, I mean, I was like, hold on, why do I not? But I wanted Saquon to win. Honestly.
Yeah.
I just wanted Philly to win.
Dude, he averaged like 2 yards a carry. It was terrible.
Saquon?
But that was just didn't have a good game. But he broke the season record by 3 yards.
But listen, they Kansas City played. They were geared up to stop Saquon. That's what they did.
No, they did.
They didn't stop anything else.
So Saquon, doesn't he look hilariously short and skinny versus all the other? He's 6 foot tall. 230.
I've seen him in person.
Or 6'3",
I know he is.
6'2"?
No, he's like 6'1".
6'6", 230.
I've seen him in person
really
a couple of
230?
times. Yeah.
That's he looks so small out there. With those
but
booms,
when you,
right?
I mean, I've seen him. I've stood shoulder to shoulder with him.
Yeah, he just looks so
And
small.
here, the cool thing is he remembered me because
you know why? Because
event, and he was like, "Hey, how you doing, man? Good to see you." Boom.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh, you met him?
Yeah, when he was with the Giants.
But you know why he looks so small? The offensive line to the Eagles,
the
like biggest.
6'7", 380 pounds, all that kind of stuff.
Yep, that's their average. Huge.
God.
So, about the controversy about the halftime show, what did you think? Come on.
Honestly, I was on the phone. I was talking to my brother and my dad at the same time.
It got very racial online though, because it became like this. Did you see what happened to it online? It just got crazy. Like, oh, the people who don't like it, they obviously hate rap. Or they turned into this black-white thing, and it got like crazy. And I think it's some of that. There's obviously some of that.
Yeah.
There's obviously people watching the Super Bowl who are that. But yeah, it got very split. It got political right away.
Yeah, because that's where we are. But I think if you're smart enough to get the message, then the only people that get mad are the people that are ignorant, that don't know what's going on.
There was a lot of messages that I read the next day. They broke it down what it was supposed to mean. Like I would never figure that unless you explain that to me.
But see how you did that. But some people then will reject that and go, "No, that's
so that can't be the message."
Right,
just random little.
Right.
But although like I know. What do you think about?
But I'm also too not a hip hop aficionado to like speak on it. Speak on
okay,
on
so
rap.
if you're not, then I'm so not.
But no, there because there are people that, and I'm not. I love Caribbean music. I love dancehall. I love soca. I listen to some hip hop too, right? But I just think a lot of the stuff they got representing hip hop now is garbage.
Yeah.
There's no no message, no really, just silly.
Yeah.
I think. But I'm also an older guy, so
I don't know enough to speak about it.
But like I said, I told you. You asked me how I did 14 hours. At one point, I was getting sleepy because I ate too much. But I really, literally.
You ate Southern food and got into a car for 14 hours.
I had music playing.
You got to nap after what they eat down there.
Yeah, you should. But I put my soca on. Did you get that? I put some soca music. Of course I blasted
Windows down, fresh
windows
air.
down.
Soca.
Yeah. And I was bobbing, and it picks you up. It's a happy music.
Did you feel, how'd you like the weather down there?
It was hot.
These are your people's weather, man. Warm, nice.
Yeah.
I said it. Your people's weather. That's right. I'm not taking that back.
It was hot. I loved it. Short sleeve shirt. Short.
Less lotion down there, more humidity in the air.
A little lotion, a little bit.
You like that?
Yeah.
It was nice.
You know that.
Oh, we're freezing up here.
Oh, you weren't freezing. Your people.
I know. This is my weather.
Yeah. You don't even wear long johns or undershirt. So.
Dude, I'm not going to sleep hugging sled dogs or anything,
Yes, come here.
Oh man,
we love you so much. Love, nice, so we are happy.
No, sled dogs like what are they?
Like Super Huskies. Yeah.
All right, so you had the Super Bowl, the controversy.
And again, everything is controversy these days.
Yeah.
Honestly, that was no controversy. It's art. We've lost that. It's art.
I just didn't like it was one guy. I love when they do like a new music, like like they do what do they call a montage? Like a new guy pops out. Oh, look, Eminem's in it. Or like when they bust out like three, four
because I don't
artists. I like
before there's a rapper from New Orleans, and it was like I think it was Nelly. Is it Nelly? No, not Nelly. I forgot who it was. I don't want to. misquote myself, but there's a rapper native that they thought that maybe Kendrick would have had them on. Or maybe there was a guy on.
Well, you could bet on if Taylor Swift was going to be on because she collaborated on one song.
Yeah.
So that was.
But like I said, I honestly, it was there, but I was I didn't really. I saw it, but I didn't see it. If you understand what I mean, because I was on a three-way with my dad.
You were still in New Orleans when the Super Bowl happened?
No,
or like the day before, right?
Yeah.
So but the Super Bowl happened on Sunday. Were you in New Orleans on Saturday?
Yes.
What was the vibe like? Did you get Super Bowl vibes?
didn't really.
The city
yeah, because I went out to eat Thursday night, right, and there's a lot of Philly fans down there. You see,
they're great people, Philly fans.
Oh
man.
yeah, they're fantastic.
They just keep their city safe. And they don't, you know.
One thing I like about Philly,
they destroyed the city.
Yeah, they do.
Holy shit!
And you know,
they came at you. It was like black and white people holding hands,
yes,
singing "Kumbaya" while they're riding with the police.
Yeah. That's Philly. You ever been to Philly? Is the epitome of a blue collar town.
Yeah,
and
I've been to Philly.
They don't give a shit about you, black or white. They're not impressed by anything you got to say. No.
You know where I felt this? I felt this in Cleveland when I did.
Yeah,
I was in Cleveland, right? I remember I was telling you I did stand up in Cleveland, but it was like an open mic, and they kind of let me do like a lot of time, almost like I was a show.
Yeah.
And I was in a bar that had an open in Akron, LeBron's hometown.
Yeah.
And I go in the bar and I walk in, and it's like half white and black, mixed with like every other, like all young people from like 20 to 35.
Yeah.
And they were completely like it was staged. They were all getting along great. And I'm like, it was a great vibe. That's why I saw a black guy on a skateboard.
Yeah.
And I knew I was safe because I saw a black guy on a skateboard. You're not getting robbed by a black guy on a skateboard.
See, but here's when
not gonna happen.
Imagine this. I came to live in this country after being born and raised in Barbados. And I started to hear all these stereotypes. Black people don't swim. Black people don't this. And I was like, where's this shit coming from?
That's such a localized stereotype, right?
Because
maybe in one little area.
We grew up swimming. We grew up skateboarding, roller skate. I mean, I couldn't do either. But my friends did.
Back up. You roller skated?
I can't. I did. No.
Okay. If I ever see you on roller skates.
My wife and my daughter do. All right. Easy. You know, skateboard.
That would be hilarious if I saw you roller skating.
You would be. I can't. No ice skate. But they could do both. They could ice skate and roller skate.
Swim? You swim?
Yeah, I swim.
You swim? There you go.
I mean, you grew up with a beach, man. I grew up with a beach. I'm not saying I'm Michael Phelps, but I can swim.
So what were we talking about? Philly.
Philly fans.
Dude, I saw the post videos smashed. I can't tell with AI. You don't know what's like. People clip stuff together.
Honestly, I just pulled back from watching anything that hot because it's stupid.
So let's talk about what happened to me at work.
Okay.
So I'm at work in my day job, and a guy comes in. I don't know. I'm not gonna say what he does, but he's not in my department. He comes in. He just rolled through. There's something he does. It was like a service where they walk through and they do something. I'm not gonna say what it is.
Okay.
He was a Dominican guy. You know, and I'm gonna guess he was either Dominican. How dark skin? I would say like a mixed African American. And some Dominican guys look completely African, right?
Oh boy.
African roots.
Oh boy.
Right?
Okay.
Or he could have been a dark-skinned Puerto Rican guy. Walks in, and I'm like, let me just talk to this guy randomly. What could go wrong? Little innocent me. And I'm like, I showed him a video. I'm like, did you see this rioting in Philly? Crazy, right? And he looks at me and goes, do you know, these people. And he walks out of the room. And my jaw dropped, and I was like, first of all, why you got to put me in that position? You got to have me comment on that? So I didn't say anything. I immediately called Dave and told him the story. And you were like fuming on the phone. I love what I told you on the phone. You were getting mad on the phone. I felt you getting mad.
I was getting
mad. I jacked that guy up and said that.
No. Here's the thing. Some, not all, but some Latinos think that for some reason.
Let's talk about it. Let's do it.
For some reason, they are. What's the best way to put this? Some Latinos. The Afro-Latinos embrace their black culture and their heritage, right? They're like, yo, no difference between you and I. I speak Spanish, black. We get it.
They embrace it.
But then some is like, I know black. You know the famous girlfriend, like, I know black.
I know black.
And for the I know black Latinos, I would like to put them in Alabama and put them
But
in
that
West
is
Virginia
literally like if I was born and raised in China, spoke fluent Chinese, and was like, I know white. Yeah, I am white. And the Chinese people look at me like, yeah, you kind of are.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
It is. It actually is.
They are true Dominicans.
Yeah.
They're born in the Dominican Republic, but they were brought there from the slave trade from Africa. You can't deny that. That's a reality.
Maybe they don't read.
That's hilarious to me.
I don't know, but that's why you're gonna always, because years ago I did an event, right, for a company. I need to tell you the company. We were doing it for promotional marketing, and we were in Queens. Summer, it's hot.
Okay.
We got Puerto Ricans in the back working. They're like, "Yo, it's hot out there, Papi. Sit down, relax. Sit down, relax. Get some water. Relax. Nah, out there hot, yo. Sit down, relax." Right? Same company. We are in West New York. Now, these are Latinos from South and Central America. I needed to use the bathroom. They was like, "Oh, hold on 1 second. I go to ask my boss." I'm like, "I got on a shirt with your company on it. Right? I got the shirt on. You see us doing work. You got to ask me to use the bathroom." And it was a different, and that type was the kind of like, "Oh, we got to watch these guys." I'm like, "Get out of here." You know what I mean? Kind of, they didn't say that, but I'm the type of vibe.
You hear that? His sister-in-law? Puerto Rican sister-in-law? What do you think about that?
Well, she married my black brother.
I'm going to guess her name. I'm going to guess her name. All right.
You should guess her name. But yeah, that's how that. But I mean, you've got some people, like you've got some Africans, you've even got some Caribbean people that like come to this country and think that they're better than the Black Americans, which I find to be hilariously stupid. I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't like it where if a Black American thinks they're better than a Caribbean person and African. I don't like if African thinks he's better than an American and a Caribbean.
Human
and
nature
Caribbean.
is hierarchies.
Yeah.
Like we were just, I was just listening to, was Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino's the podcast, and they were talking about the Asian hierarchy.
Oh, okay.
And they talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
And then in that whole world, there's a whole hierarchy you and I don't know about.
Yeah.
Where Japanese and Korean think they're at a certain level, and then Chinese, and then there's like all the way down here like Filipino, and it's bizarre.
Yeah.
The world, we just divide. Like
And
that.
I think that happens, obviously from slavery, but I think it's perpetuated because growing up, I never saw on TV. It was American and English.
Yeah.
It was documentaries about Africa. It was never, I never thought that Africa had buildings. You thought Africa was this place with dirt roads and huts and naked people and starvation.
Yeah, like how did you never?
Because that's what we were showing.
I know.
That's what all we were shown. We were shown, oh, look at Haiti. They're always fighting. Da da da. Never say, hey, Haiti was the first Black independent nation that France screwed.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I'm kind of like, I work with an African guy who's from a French, they call it Franco. When you're from a country that was once French
rule
colony, and then French gave up the rule and went away. No. Who was it? The British gave it to the French.
Yeah.
No, German. A lot of those areas were German colonized, and they were actually, the way they were run was good. This is what he was telling me. This is the African guy I'm talking about. He's from Togo.
Okay.
And he said when the Germans left, I think it's because of World War II. I don't know. I didn't do my research, obviously, for this podcast. But when the Germans gave it to the French ran it to the ground. They effed it up. And he was not happy. So this guy from Togo, which is a French colony, a former French colony, said it was great when it was German. When the French took over, they effed everything up, their school system, everything. So I don't know a lot about that. He says what they did.
He said it was great.
This is what he said they did. They basically took all the money, like how the Revolutionary War started. No taxation without representation. They were taxing the Americans, but they weren't giving anything to it. They weren't letting us even vote. They just collected the money. That's kind of what the French did. They installed their own puppet leaders, just took the money back to France, and this is what he's telling me. And the more you read about it, they kind of did that.
Yeah. I mean,
colonizing, right? They screwed the local people.
I mean, there's no story in history where the colonizer. It was great for the nation, for the colonized.
No. But apparently this guy was saying it was great under the Germans.
Great.
The Germans.
The Germans.
And then...
and you do that, sit down there, we will rule you with the iron fist and you'll be okay.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right. All right.
We wanted to talk about stand-up.
We're going to talk about stand-up?
Yeah, stand-up. Long form versus short form. Yeah? Comedy stylings.
Yeah.
Comedy
styles. Talk a little bit about stand-up?
Yeah, we'll talk about stand-up.
So,
Terrence, you like stand-up, right, Terrence? That was no smooth transition at all. We just jumped straight into, hey, fight the power to, hey, laughter.
I'm like torn with my comedy. With
what do you mean?
because I see great joke writers,
Right.
great punchline.
Right.
You know, and I like some of those comics. I love Dave Attell.
Yeah.
But then, like, the comics that I always watched growing up that I wanted to be most like was like Bill Burr, Louis,
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle, Patrice.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of, I'm trying to include everybody, black, white, Hispanic. I didn't like, but in my comedy, I'm not a good joke writer. I tell stories that are funny. And today lately I've been trying to write jokes, but that's just not me.
Right.
And then a thing popped up on my feed was a Patrice bit.
Right.
Where Patrice says, I'm going to do the bit, whatever.
Yeah. It's out there.
This comic I'm talking about, he's literally deceased. He's not around anymore.
But it's out there.
Great Patrice O'Neill, right?
Yeah.
And the bit is, he's like, women, he draws it out. He goes, women, they, if you ask a woman, you know, would you cheat on your husband? Would you, with Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
Or with Denzel Washington, somebody like, you know, beautiful, amazing. A woman would be like, nah, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. And she ultimately wouldn't do it. Yeah. And you ask a guy, would you cheat on your wife? See that woman behind the dumpster lying down over there? And every man would be like,
yeah, remember that?
Hold on. She's like, oh. Yeah. And you get the joke?
Yeah.
It's obviously, what's the joke mean? It means that we're not wired like women.
Yeah.
We would literally do it. Men are disgusting. We're horrible. We're differently wired. But there's no punchline in that joke.
But is that in that joke? Is that the one about the nose? He's like, yes, you don't got a nose, but
no. He's just talking about how a guy will do it with anything.
He is one.
Maybe later. I just saw that clip.
Yeah,
but my
maybe.
point is, what is the point in that? What I just said?
Right, man.
That joke was hilarious. It got such. I ruined that joke, so you can look up that joke yourself and see it, and you see how.
Patrice, the Velvet Sugar Podcast. Apologize.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. The great
but that joke is an amazing joke. There's no punchline.
Right.
There's no. What is it? It's about. It's a story. It's about how he delivered it in the humor.
Yeah.
And that's people like Chappelle, Bill Burr, Patrice. There's no punchy joke.
I don't have a punchline joke. I don't have that either. I tell stories. I tell stories from my youth. I do comparisons, and then there's characters where I'm able to bring in, you know, these many accents that I do.
Yeah.
Right. I tell a story about my dog from the Caribbean perspective, and I juxtapose.
Do you think that me and you, what we're doing is a lot of our humor is based on how we act it out? I'm trying to break this down too much. I don't know.
No.
It's a lot about we're acting it out. It's a story.
Yeah, but what do you mean by act out? Because, you know, act out. There are levels to the acting out.
Paint the picture of the person's head listening. Right. Act it out.
Right. Yeah.
But what does make what we do though, the parts that we say that are funny on stage, what we do is we get that certain words are funny. We use the right words.
Right.
Like I have a joke that for a long time I would put certain words in there in the punchline, like this word just doesn't work.
Right.
And I realized, this word works. You got to find the right wording.
The new joke that I did about Cracker Barrel, I got a Cracker Barrel bit that I did last night.
Yeah.
Where the joke has the N-word in it. And I'm not a big N-word user.
No, you're not.
Right? But for that joke, for that to be the joke, it had to be in there.
You got to go a little Paul Moody.
Right? Yeah. It had to be in there, and I like doing it in the moment when they came up with the bit about the old lady and the water fountain, and everybody. I got laughs. They got laughs.
Oh yeah.
I got laughs one after the next. So I was like, because when I came off, he was like, that first 3 minutes, keep everything for the first 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So I recorded it. So now I'm like, now I can build that into something else. So all of that 19 hours down, 19 and 19. That's basically so in 40 hours of driving, I got a 3-minute bit out of 4 minutes.
You drove 40 hours?
Yeah, 19 and a half down, 19 and a half coming back.
With how many days of rest? Like, not even rest, you were there to work.
No, there's no rest.
Oh,
no rest. That's why I was falling asleep last night.
Yeah.
But I always say, whenever we discuss comedy, I always say comedy is this broad thing. Because you got the Dave Attell, who's joke bit.
Yeah, he doesn't have hardly any stories. It's all.
Bam. But then you have a Ron White that has stories.
Yeah.
Right? You have...
There's so many different kinds of ways to tell a joke.
You have Ali Sadiq with stories. And his stories are epic. And the way he breaks them down, his cadence is phenomenal. You got obviously the great Dave Chappelle, Roy Wood Jr., you know.
Oh, I saw the special recently. It was so good. The Roy Wood special.
Ari Shaffir is brilliant too. You know, and again, you know I'm a big Godfrey fan.
Dude, if you can be like a really kind of like a dirty... he's like known he's not like a likable. You watch him, you're like, this guy's not likable. But after you watch how good his jokes are, how clever they are.
Yeah. Because when I saw him in the cellar, I was watching him like this because I immediately saw the Kobe video, and I was like,
but you probably after a couple minutes, you're like, this guy's hilarious.
I was like, damn, this guy's good.
That's damn funny.
I was like, damn, this guy's good. He had
Were you
a
laughing
bit
at the
about
jokes?
period. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just good.
I was like, period. How he brought the punch, I was like, wow. I was like, wow.
I love the last special. I'll ruin his joke. He's not, we don't know him.
I mean, but when he says, when we do meet him, I'll punch him in his face.
When he says that, so Shafir is obviously a white guy. He talks about how he goes stealing. He steals from the grocery stores.
Yeah.
He's like, I just steal, He goes, when I see black people walk into a Dwayne Reed, I'm like, it's shopping time. Because guys, I understand there's white privilege, but for now, you guys make an excellent diversion. He's like, you see two black guys walk in, I'm like this, and you can see the security guard like, forget about this guy, we got a situation over here, and they're following the black guys.
That is hilarious. It's hilarious. It's so hilarious.
It's such a simple thought out
it
joke.
Is, and I think that's what when you could simplify a joke that everybody gets it, and therein like the brilliance is taking material and just making it simple.
You know what Gary Goldman says? You ever heard what he says about this?
What?
He goes, you ever watch we're comedians, watch like comedians on Netflix or whatever, and you're watching the special and you go, oh my God, why didn't I think of that?
Right,
that's my life.
Yeah.
If you see that means that's a brilliant joke.
Yeah.
Because it's simple, crafted, that relates to everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I do shows, right? And okay, how are you when somebody say, "Oh wow, that was funny. It was good. You were great."
That's great.
How do you feel when someone says that?
I feel great. I feel great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, why wouldn't I? Right? You do too.
Yeah, I do, but.
Well, what do you mean? Sincerely says to me that you did really great.
Yeah,
that was really funny.
But in the back of my head, I go, "Yeah, but I didn't land this way. I want to." You know what I mean?
No, well, hold on. If I feel like I didn't land stuff.
Yeah.
No, I'm still happy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cool. I'm all
I
right.
made their night.
I think I'm more like, okay, what's next now?
I heard, they were talking about this on, I forgot whose podcast. Rogan might have been talking about this. I think Rogan was talking about how you will never do a whole set, special, whatever, 10, 20, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, and walk off going, oh, I remembered every one of my... You will always forget a couple of taglines and mess something up.
Yeah.
Because even like if I do a short 10, 15 minute set, it's like 25 jokes in there.
Yeah.
It's like 25 tags and jokes.
Yeah.
I always miss something and replace. I'll be like, oh, I just added these 3 that I wanted to add, but I left out a classic tagline.
Yeah. And it's
almost like 3 things in, 1 thing out.
But that's the thing though, the tagline treats a long form story like a bit after bit because you're tagging it up. So that's the funny. So that's the funny about this first part of the joke. Mm-hmm. Then you go on to the second half, another tag, they laugh, they tag. Because you said Colin said in terms of he said everybody said you tell me.
Colin Quinn? No, he told me that. So I opened for him last year in March, and what he told me was he saw me do my set, and he came up to me, and he was like, "Listen, do talk more about your daughter. Talk stuff that relates to you. Like talk about like if for instance, he goes, I don't know, I don't have a daughter, but like if maybe when you get on the bus with her or something happens, that's going to relate to more than half the crowd. And if it doesn't relate to the crowd, the ones laughing, the other ones still laugh. It's like infectious laughter. Right. So like forget about people who won't relate to it. Most people will relate to it. Yeah. Say stories because he goes, there's a million ways to do jokes. There's a million people telling jokes, but relatable stuff, that's what is memorable. Right. That's what people remember. And he's right. There's a joke I heard Bill Burr do 20 years ago, and Louis C.K. I saw a joke did. There's a bunch of jokes I can tell you word for word, not word for word, but almost word for word. I've seen Louis do 20 years ago. Yeah. Eddie Murphy do 40 years ago. That I'll never forget. Why? Because it's a story that he painted a perfect picture. Yeah. And it's something memorable.
Yeah. That was personal to them.
That's personal. It's a whole nice...
You ever heard Garfield's bid about his parents, but when his father took him and his brother and sister to McDonald's?
Yes. I'll probably never forget that.
Because it's a story, but it's acted out. And
the versus you hear a joke and it could be, listen to me, you could hear a Dave Attell joke that's absolutely hilarious to me. Yeah. I will forget it. Doesn't mean he has forgettable jokes.
No.
but that joke just doesn't stick in your mind because it doesn't paint a full story.
But
like a little mini movie.
But everybody is different, right? Because you got the joke.
I can't remember any of Jeselnik's jokes.
But they're funny.
But they're hilarious. But I will probably not be able to recite. I can recite one of Jeselnik's jokes. You want to hear it?
Right.
When he goes, I was at like he does that in that short, really short. He goes really slow. I met a girl at a party, and she was like a 10. She was like a Victoria's Secret model hot. And I went up to her and says, "What do you do for a living?" He said, "Anthony, it's nice to meet you. I'm a brain surgeon, a pediatric neurosurgeon." And I said, "Wow, I really love women with a sense of sarcasm." I messed up the joke.
Yeah.
But the joke is he couldn't believe, obviously I had to explain to you, he couldn't believe nobody beautiful could also be smart. He shits on a woman being beautiful and also smart. And the women in the crowd, I just remember how they groaned. And they put the camera on the women and they're like, one woman was like this. Like, you chauvinistic pig. But she was laughing. You see, she was like, that's funny though.
Yeah. But I think.
Well, they're coming for you.
Yeah.
I know black.
I blew a light.
They're coming.
I think what it is too is when you have to be your own individual. You know, you got to do what I can be fans of people that tell dark jokes if it's funny, right? But I don't do dark jokes. You know what I mean? That's not what I do. You know what I mean?
Like blue humor, like you really dark.
Like dark. You know what I mean?
I don't do it. I don't. Yeah, like.
If that makes any sense to you.
Yeah. Do you do it in open mics? Do you try? That's not you. You just don't do
really
it.
me. I like I said, I come up with these things and I try them and I said, oh, so this can add to this bit because I got a bunch of dad bits, dog bits. You know, you talk about again cultural stuff because we're like a subculture. You know, in America.
How much time we got, Terrence? What do you think, roughly?
15.
15?
You're doing good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about Barbados in a moment.
Okay.
But go ahead, finish what you're saying.
But I always say this comedy is just so broad. When people are now starting out, they have an influence or favorite comic, and they kind of speak in that voice. And other comedians talk about that too. Dan Soder was talking about, he was doing a show, and this guy, he's like this feature, he's really good. But he see him doing the Shane Gillis thing with the mic and everything. And when he got off, he's like, "You're doing Shane?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I love him."
Who's the comic that you saw? I'm going to tell you who it is obviously after this, but I want to. Who's the comic you saw? And it's always, I truly believe this. It's one comic, because it was for me, that you saw and you're like, "Oh man, I can do this. I can do that."
Tony Woods.
And it's usually, is it because, can I guess? Is it because you're looking at him, you're like, I talk like that. He reminds me of me a little bit. Like that's kind of how I.
What I remember about Tony Woods, and I think this was the late '90s or early 2000s, one of those periods. He did a bit about a monkey, right? About a monkey.
Okay.
About calling home and having the monkey heat your dinner up for you, right? You should
really?
Tony, yeah. And this is Dave Chappelle's OG, Tony Woods.
I heard he was like his mentor back in the day. Like he was.
And that's another thing too. Why is one comic successful commercially versus the other? And he is. Everybody respects and loves Tony Woods.
But you're talking about Dave Chappelle, and Dave Chappelle is just a master.
You know what I mean? But listen, Tony Woods.
Talent.
Tony Woods has so much freaking bits.
How about Ari Shaffir shitting on on Dave Chappelle in the special? Did you watch it?
Yeah. Well,
he went out off. I love it though. But
you know what? Corey Holcomb says the same thing. Oh, well, not the same thing.
About Chappelle?
He was like, hey, great, Dave Chappelle is great in movies. He's great. I give him that. He's A-lit. But Dave Chappelle be out here motherfucking bombing. He's like, he be bombing his show. He's like, yo, he be bombing his show. Nobody's afraid to say it. I'm gonna say it. I was like, wow. But also too in this period we're living in.
Yeah.
You say something to get a reaction because why it trend. You then become like a trend. You become trendy. Your page gets a lot If somebody views you to hate, it's still.
Listen,
you know
we
what I
are
mean?
right now full on this Instagram, Facebook world, TikTok world we're living in. We're full on 100% living in a world that's any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah.
Bad doesn't matter.
Yeah, which
People
is crazy.
literally put videos online of something horrific because they know they get views.
Yeah.
That's the definition of what that. We used to make fun of that. Like, is he just doing it to get attention? Literally, everybody is just are doing it now
to get attention. Yeah, and you know,
the police just had a thing on. You listen to 1010 Wins? I listen to it driving to work in the morning.
I used to have
the police now have a pleading advertisement now every day they play on 1010 Wins saying if you see something, please help or call a cop or ask if you need assistance, and then you can film. They're asking people, don't just film, for the love of God. People, they'll just watch a train wreck and nobody will help anybody. They just film.
It's ridiculous.
This would be awesome on my reel.
And then people, and then people, you know,
That's
come up
sad
with
that we're living like that.
a lot of fake scenarios, fake fights, and all types of stuff.
Oh my God, the level of fights.
You know what it is? You know, it didn't start there, right? You know when it started going downhill? Reality TV. We've all become like reality TV stars individual little channel. It really is because I mean, what was it? Real World. In the first couple of seasons with Angel, I didn't have cable. I used to watch them.
Yeah, Real World was like the first one.
Right.
You know, it's the first ever Survivor-like show, The Survivor.
Yeah.
You remember The Survivor?
Yeah,
first season, that gay guy that won?
Yeah.
And then later he got busted for not paying taxes on the million he won. The million he won in 94, 95, which is like today winning $3 million. Yeah. He didn't pay taxes on it, that dude.
Jeez.
He won The Survivor. That was probably the first reality show.
Then the singing shows were reality.
Yeah.
Comedy shows were reality. Remember Last Comic Standing? Dak Fan.
I never watched too much of it.
Dak Fan won and Ralphie May did. To me, Ralphie
was like
May
Jersey Shore one of the original ones too? That was like in the 2000s, right?
Yeah.
Jersey
but
Shore.
I remember Last Comic Standing because everybody thought Ralphie May was funny. Ralphie May was hilarious.
Oh, he was on that?
Yeah.
Did he win it?
No, he did not. Dak Fan won. Dak Fan.
Ralphie May is much more well known to that. I don't even know who that is. Who?
Dak Fan. He was a Vietnamese guy.
Oh, gotcha.
If you Google him, you see Dak. Was it Dak Fan or Dak? That or Dak? Oh, here's here's a Googler. Oh man, let's see it. Dak Fan. PHAN.
PHAN. Dak Fan.
Dat D-A-T.
He
Dak
won.
Fan. Yeah, he won Last Comic Standing.
This is a universal rule. You know what that rule is?
What?
If you win the Heisman, you never become great. This guy basically won the Heisman version of comedy.
Yeah.
But it's those guys don't make it the Heismans.
And if you put in Ralphie May.
You heard about that, right? When you win the Heisman Trophy, you almost always bomb.
Yeah, look at all this. I mean, he died early. You know, he was.
It's the second, third place guys like this to become.
2017.
He's amazing. Yeah. It was amazing.
I see his clips and I go, oh damn, that was funny. But you know what? There's always somebody in the comments going, I never found him funny.
But yeah,
but we that's the age that we're in. Somebody's never going, oh, I don't find him funny. I don't think it's funny at all. I mean, I've heard people say that about
I think you could have the greatest comedian ever in a room in a theater of 1,000 people. I went to see Shane Gillis, hilarious. I went to see Bill Burr live. Oh, great comics we ever go see in the stadiums. But you know, like when you watch like a punchline during a really funny joke, right? You look around you when everybody's laughing, like belly hurting laughter. There's always one person in like a row that's like looking around like I don't know what the.
But you know what?
Not everybody gets the joke.
There was or likes it. There are people out there that said Michael Jordan wasn't great. There are people out there that think Michael Jordan.
Yeah, they weren't alive. I think just they weren't alive. Do you think it's people who were alive during his legacy watched it?
Yeah. Talk about he wasn't. I don't like the way he plays. He hogs the ball. He's a ball hog. Okay. But now these people have Instagram.
I heard
and
an
Twitter.
interesting thing online saying people who used to make fun of Larry Bird saying he was he was overhyped. Now they've seen people who have literally no physical, like they're not physically fast, they're overweight, like Jokic, how good he is. Yeah. They realize, oh crap, Bird probably was really good.
No, if
Jokic could do it, not being a physically talented, he's slow and overweight. But he's so skilled.
He's not overweight.
They realized Bird was
ridiculous. Bird used to say, put a white player on me? That's disrespectful.
Yeah, passing and shooting, you know.
But he could, he wasn't like, Magic Johnson wasn't all that athletic either.
Somebody told me Jokic is like a combination of of passing of like Bill Burr actually said this. And he's a big sports fan. He said he's a combination of
Bird and Magic.
Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, the way he passes. It's not
But you
same
know,
like Luka with the crazy passing skill. You know,
Luka got traded to the Lakers.
What's the record now that he got traded?
No, I mean it's the same. But here he got traded for Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis came off an injury, and he re-injured the injury, which is the abductor or something like that. Now he's out for like a month.
You think Lakers will win it with
No,
Luka?
of course not.
LeBron?
No.
You need more than that. You need more than,
I mean, LeBron is phenomenal. I think whenever LeBron decides to hang it up, if there were 3 greats on the Mount Rushmore, LeBron has to be 4. I happen to think LeBron is the second best player of all time. Yeah. For me, it's Michael Jordan, LeBron James. I think. I don't, because people go, oh, well, look at his record.
Kobe wouldn't be up there?
No, because Kobe was good.
Kobe did
was
it
great.
with much better teammates. He
That's
had
what
to
I'm
have
saying.
good teammates to win it.
That's what I'm saying.
Would always,
if
stack his
LeBron,
team.
Kobe came off the bench after 1 year, and he had Shaquille O'Neal. He had Shaq.
Yeah.
He had
he always
Shaq.
had somebody big.
You had the most dominant big man on your team. So you could afford to go. Michael Jordan didn't have that. LeBron didn't have that.
No.
The only time LeBron had teammates was when he went to Miami.
Yeah.
Like initially.
That's why I would say, yeah.
You know? But LeBron is just so skilled, and he's so high IQ.
I would have to give it to Jordan over LeBron for how many times.
Jordan just killer.
Jordan never lost in the championship. 6 for 6.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like Tom Brady, I would say, like 7 times he won it, but he lost 3.
Yeah.
10 Super Bowls. Jordan, how many times did LeBron lose a championship? A few times.
Yeah, but LeBron.
I'm just saying, Jordan
I know.
lost in the moment.
That too, but I don't. It's not just 100% that for me. It's just how people would fear Jordan.
And you know what else? Did LeBron ever win Defensive Player of the Year?
No.
The fact that Jordan did, that's insane.
Yeah.
That level of offense and talent.
And then
Kobe never did. Shaq never did.
Yeah.
And Jordan won Defensive Player of the Year. The guys who win Defensive Player of the Year, who are they usually? They're not great shooters.
While leading the league in scoring.
While leading the league. That's like you
32
literally.
points a game, yeah.
That is insane. You know?
I mean, he was.
That's Babe Ruth stuff, where like you do both sides of the defense and offense. That's nuts.
Yeah, it is nuts. That's why to me he's
that's
the greatest
why I would
player.
have to give it to
Jordan. But you've got younger people in their 30s talking about Jordan played against plumbers
and Luka Doncic defense. Like that guy's level of defense is not real.
And that's what he got exposed.
I know
they Boston exposed him because they ran at him in that final. But this is what I heard. I don't know how true this is. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that Mark Cuban does not own the Dallas Mavericks anymore. They said the lady that owns it, she wants to something with casinos that's not allowed in Dallas. So she wants to wanted to take the team to Las Vegas, not letting doing that.
Oh, they're gonna move them out of Dallas.
So she just like ruining the team. I don't know how true.
All right, listen, let's
talk. We got 5. You said Barbados. We got 5 minutes.
Who in the NBA is of Caribbean descent?
Oh, there's a bunch of them. There's. I mean, currently.
As one of my favorite teams, the Knicks. Come on, the big man, Patrick Ewing, right?
Oh, I thought you meant currently.
Oh no, I mean all time.
All-time
greats.
Yeah.
All-time greats.
Patrick Ewing is Jamaican. Yeah, Romeo Robinson is Jamaican.
Was Moses Malone? No.
I know.
I don't.
Okay. Jermaine McGlure. He used to play for the Toronto Raptors. I believe
Any
he's
Barbados?
Trinidadian.
No. Mm-mm. How about
Trinidad?
Actually,
yeah, Jermaine McGlure. Yeah, actually, Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins that I guess got traded from Golden State to Miami. His mother is from Barbados.
Half Barbados. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And there's a hockey player, Weeks. His parents are Bajan. He's retired now, but he used to play for the Rangers. His parents.
How many black hockey players right now? There's a few.
But Weeks, I think his name is Kevin Weeks.
I used to follow hockey. I don't anymore. Yeah. There's some really
Somebody's losing their white card.
I know.
So
I know. Sorry,
yeah,
I'm not
but
Canadian.
he was Bajan descent too.
So you and Dave also, I think since the last podcast you went to Barbados, no?
No, I went to Trinidad.
No, you went to Trinidad.
Yeah.
And I was texting David, and he was getting drunk on Carib beers.
Carib, yeah.
Carib.
Because I'm not a drinker, but I got there and it was like it's hot, they're cold, and I'm drinking. The next thing you know, it's like, okay, you had pre-drink, let's go do real drink. I'm like, no, hey, look, tap.
You fly direct.
Yeah.
And when you landed in Trinidad, what's the capital of Trinidad?
Port of Spain.
Port of Spain.
Yeah.
Port of Spain.
Yeah.
And when you land in Trinidad, What's it like, man? Versus like, tell somebody like me, people listening. Like I've been to the Dominican. You know, I think that's the only country in the Caribbean
I've never been to the Dominican.
But like when you fly there, a culture shock a little bit. Like,
No.
not for you because you're from Barbados.
But
how is it different from Barbados?
But it is
other than being bigger.
Okay, wow, he knows that. But no, it's just different. You know, the accent is different.
What do you mean? Wow, I know that.
No. Of course you know that. No, it's just everything is like it's just a bigger place. Like for example, I know license plate numbers. You got like one letter or two letters, then numbers, like 3 or 4 numbers.
Did they got those big European license plates? Europe, they have these giant license plates. They're
but
like 3 times our size.
But like in Trinidad now, instead of 2 letters, they got 3 letters, and then 3 letters, like they would have like MAP or MAO 8972. Right? So that's like one thing, 2 minutes. But other than that, you know, they look similar, but it's everything is different. Each and every island is different. They got some similarities, but it's like, okay, this is their version, this is what their version. Like I spoke to my wife today, and she showed me the fish that she got, fish, and I was like, let's save some of that for me to season, please, with Bajan seasoning. She's like, no.
Wait, she brought fish back?
She will.
How? How do you get it on a plane and get it frozen?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you freeze it.
You're allowed to bring fish from okay, because from Europe you're not allowed to bring fruits or meat.
Fish is not meat. Fish is fish.
I guess it's not meat, right?
Yeah.
Agricultural products you can't bring fruits, vegetables, and
fish,
any kind of meat.
Fish you can.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, this podcast comes out, she ought to be back. So, but it's a difference. Like if I go any local place and buy like kingfish versus straight out of the Caribbean waters, you like, oh man, it's a different taste for sure. Hey,
all right, we got 1 minute. That's
bro,
it. We're gonna wrap it up. We'll talk more about Barbados next time.
But did it feel like even without?
No.
Jeez, man. We talk Super Bowl, we talk comedy, we talk driving, the South.
We're gonna talk. David's gonna tell us how he's actually really half Chinese and quarter Slovak and quarter African. Yes. We'll be right back after these messages. Just leave him on a hanger he's half Chinese. What?
Yeah, I'll tell you my Chinese story next episode. You got to stay tuned for it.
With a lot of Chinese mixed in Trinidad, right? Like, All right, there you go. So I wasn't really kind of wrong.
A lot of Chinese, a lot of Indian.
All right, but we'll talk about it next time.
Yeah, we talk
about it. You got
anything
to plug, David? What do you got to plug?
Oh, we got a show coming up next week on the 20th, February 20th.
If this comes out. Yeah, we're going to be in Boston. We're going to be in Fenway Park at the Bleacher Bar in front of 200 people at Fenway Park.
Telling jokes.
Velvet Sugar Podcast.
Telling jokes, baby.
Telling jokes.
Telling jokes, man. Telling jokes. Follow our journey.
Follow our journey. What else? I want to put on the bottom of the screen if Terrence does it. If not, that's cool. Yeah. What shows? You want to put any shows you're going to be on in the future?
Some coming up in March. I don't have the dates yet, but I have some coming up in March and April.
Oh, come see me March 7th in Cold Spring.
Yeah.
At Friday Night Laughs in Cold Spring.
You're also.
I'll put the link here.
You're also. You're doing Rhino. You're headlining at Rhino.
And also Room 52. We're going to be March 22nd.
Yes,
David and I are going to be in Room 52.
Yes.
In the city. Come see us.
Come see us. Yes, come see us. Let's do our thing.
In Manhattan.
Get these dad jokes. Yeah. Rhino. You're doing Rhino when?
Rhino. That's going to be in a couple days. So this won't.
But still let them know though.
All right, February 15th.
February 15th.
Saturday,
He's headlining it.
Headlining. The second time headlining at Rhino Comedy Club.
Velvet Sugar in the building, baby.
Velvet Sugar in the building.
Yeah.
All right.
That's well, thanks, guys. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Hey, at Velvet Sugar, follow us. I'm at Black Rock Dave.
At Big Alex Comedy. And thank you, Terrence, our wonderful producer.
Thank you for our new setup. Look like we going places, y'all. Which we are. Velvet Sugar. Remember that name, guys.
All right.
All right, yo. See you. This has been episode
real quick.
21.
Our next guest is going to be somebody who knew personally and wrote for who?
Joan Rivers.
For Joan Rivers. So check us out.
So check us out.
Velvet Sugar.
I'm sure she's going to have great
surprise
stories,
guest.
Guys. So check it out.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.